Welcome to A Scrap Life, a podcast solely focused on the hustlers, grinders, operators, and business owners who live and breathe the scrap metal industry every day. We are the original recyclers. No suits required, just guts and hard work. Here is your host, Brett Eckhart.
All right, another episode of A Scrap Life, and this one's a little bit more personal to me because it's with one of our own once again. The coolest thing about this podcast is we get to interview people from all over the world, all over the U.S., all kinds of walks of life, whether it's brokers or equipment guys or just individuals in the scrap industry. But I always have a special place in my heart when I get to interview one of our own, Mr. J. Milligan. How you doing, sir?
Brett?
It's good, man. It's good. You just handed me some of the new business cards that you just had printed up for the SEMA show.
SEMA, yeah.
And one of the reasons why we wanted to get this one done is we're pretty excited. We're pretty proud that we are going to exhibit at the SEMA show in Las Vegas this upcoming week.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think about where I started, and now, we used to be proud of servicing Idaho, Oregon, maybe a little bit of Washington, a little bit of Utah. And now the biggest struggle is just trying to give the same level of customer service that we're giving to our local customers to the entire United States. So
Yes.
It's pretty exciting, and it's pretty early on. We only started the online shipping stuff in April, but I think we're going to have some pretty good numbers for the end of the year.
Yeah, it's been a pretty wild ride. I like to tell people that, a lot of our ideas get hatched, a long time before they ever actually get implemented or they ever come to fruition. And converter reclaim, copper reclaim, a lot of our business, the businesses that we're really in the middle of developing right now were hatched years ago. So, like a flash back to probably 2014 was when we really kind of started trying to dig a little deeper into the converter business. We've always accumulated converters. I've always bought and sold converters, but never to the level of trying to provide the greatest value. It was just an item that came with a car that we were buying. We were in the ferrous and non-ferrous market. We weren't converter buyers,
You
core
would buy
buyers.
it here and there, but didn't get aggressive.
I'd pay $10, $15 for a converter, right? And that's kind of how we bought them through our recycling center. And then I started realizing, hey, there's a real opportunity here. Like, there's a business within a business. And so that was, I want to say 2014. We had, yourself, Nick Snyder, and
I was a truck driver then.
You were driving truck.
I think I remember how this went down. I think I had a bad day as a truck driver. I was doing bins, and truck driver, you got a lot of time to think. And I think the forklift broke in half that day. Like the forks actually fell off of the front of it, and I had a terrible day. And I think I actually threatened you with my employment that day, and maybe that stimulated my next job having to do a little more with
your brain,
with my brain than. But
what's like, and this is what I want people to know, and like I'm glad you tell that story because I post a lot of the good shit, right?
Yeah.
The pictures when things are, the beautiful mountains in the background, the
Rough
scrap
road
when it's
until
nice,
then, yeah.
the scrap when it's nicely baled, a pile of 2,000 converters in the warehouse, like. It's easy to get caught up in just posting all the good stuff, but like I think just like any businesses, like like the forklift almost breaking in half, picking up bins at customers, the trucks. We run issues with the trucks all the time. We run into drivers' issues like everybody else does, and those are all like growing pains, and it's all part of the deal. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, a business owner, a manager, whatever, like please believe. Like there's a lot of like trying
every
times.
Step if you want to master the whole thing over time.
There's a lot of trying days, right? Where sometimes you just want to take the cleats off, hang them on the wall, and say, "Fuck it, I'm done, I'm out." Right? Yeah. So see, like that version of the story, like wasn't in my mind, right? I totally
that's
forgot
always
about
been
that.
in my mind.
I forgot about that day. So, long story short, we were like, hey, we want to start buying converters aggressively. We had already set up United Electronics Recycling. We were already buying and selling electronic scrap, and it was starting to become a very commoditized business in the fact that there at one point there was really some good money to be made, some good margins to be made. There was some good reusable equipment still
Not
coming
a lot
off.
of categories, and then by the time we were done with it, it's just
It was
categories
started to get
tripled, and everybody's nitpicking everything.
It was
Just a
very
big headache.
the export market got it slowed up, and it became just a really a business that wasn't great for our state in the fact that you need a big population base, you need a state that is really adamant about keeping that material out of the landfill, and we didn't have either. So we pivoted, just like any good business, in my opinion. We said we're still interested in the precious metals that electronics recycling had to offer, but we felt there was a better way for us to chase those just through the natural progression of where our business was growing, which was on the auto salvage side, on the crushing cars, setting up and doing more business with tow companies and auto mechanic shops. And we were like, hey, we can still chase precious metals, but there's a better form out there. And that's kind of, I think, in my mind, what really started us down the converter path.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning of that, like I was transforming kind of from a yard guy to a truck guy to an office guy, and then the converter thing kind of led me into also a United Metals buyer, and they work hand in hand. So, I mean, I've worked with every auto salvage around us, car crushing. We actually have one of our smaller Moffett trucks because, when I first started driving around buying converters, like I want to give metal bins and service these customers for an all-around thing, but we didn't have that capability.
Yeah.
And now, of course, we have a few of those trucks now. So,
yeah. And it's like going back into the history of it. We can get into the converters here in a little bit, but and I say this all the time, and I'll preach it till the day I die. My post on LinkedIn this morning was, it looks good on paper, right? Like, there's so many things with people that look good on paper that you kind of have to be more of a judge of character than like what you've done in the past from a resume standpoint. So when you started with us, I remember the day Tom hired you, he hired you to come break down electronics with us, right?
Like, good old Tommy Guns. $8 an hour. Tom was smart, though. He only paid me $8 an hour for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So
he figured it out.
He knew that
you were worth more
to stick around.
Yeah, you were worth $9.
Yeah, 9 for a couple months, right?
Yeah. So you started with us just like, everybody that's in a management position in our company started as an $8 an hour, $9 an hour entry level guys.
Be a good. I mean, there probably are good managers out there, but the best managers are the ones that lived every step of what the guys they're managing have to do. So,
yep.
I mean, whereas like I'm the president of Converter Reclaim, but I'm also the director of United Metals. So, I've loaded the customer bins. I've had to sort them. I've sat on the baler. I've sat in the excavators and.
You still run the scale,
yeah.
Like the purchase scale.
Whatever needs happen.
If we need,
going, we'll do it.
So the progression for you was United Electronics, then
dismantler, and then Tom came over here to this building that we're in now.
We put this facility in
to kind of. Well, actually, let me back up. So, I was working with Tom, and I didn't really have a title besides dismantler, but Tom just kind of disappeared. Because he needed to learn how to run a scrapyard at our parent, which is the Caldwell yard. Mm-hmm. And then there was a little time where our lease lapsed out, and we were actually dismantling electronics in a little tiny shack of a warehouse in Caldwell for a few months. And we had to move out of there. And then we moved into this building. And that's where my journey started to get a little wild, because without Tom there, like I had to either like just flop down or step up and customers still needed their electronics picked up. And then we're moving in here. We didn't have a trash can. We didn't have rugs. We didn't have shelves. And I remember I had Tom's credit card. It didn't even have my name on it. And I was just spending money on anything and everything that this building needed because the entire building was empty. It's crazy. You walk around out there and people think it's been like that for a long time. But realistically, when we got here, it was you could see one side or the other. And so I lived that and experienced that. And
which is one of the things I admire about you is you have the ability, like I am more think about shit in the big picture, right? Like I'm in my mind thinking about like what does it look like a year, 5, 10 from now, and so I'm always in my mind building that out. But you always have to have someone that's there, like doing and saying, okay, we need a rug, we need a fucking trash can, we need a camera in this facility, we need this, we need that, and that was always something that I knew if you were involved in it, I knew you'd figure out all that day-to-day stuff, like to get the keep the the grease and the bearings to make everything
like,
go.
It's all like I love the ideas, and we've always ran with all the ideas, and so far it's doing pretty good. Like this last idea with the shipping, and as far as everything I've done with this company till now is kind of led up to doing this.
Yeah.
And everything I've learned from every job we've done, from taking the printing press out of the Idaho Statesman with Kenny Bull to doing auto salvage, like all these jobs, all these projects have really helped this grow from an infant to an adult in a very short amount of time. And I think that, and the team we have, we've all had a good part in it, but every person down to, the front desk girl, Cheyenne, is with us now, and, our, Brian and Casey on the back end, all these people, Jim with the logistics, like all these people that are just pretty awesome around us.
We have an awesome support staff that is, we built all these businesses on the backs of people that just want to step up and like help be a part of building something.
They just do their shit.
Yeah, which is super important. And for me, that's how you get. There's nothing I love more than watching something start as like an infant and just watching it grow, because there's a lot of companies out there that buy more converters than us. There's a lot of companies out there that have more technology on the buy side than us. There's a lot of people out there that have more of certain things than us.
Knowledge.
But there's nobody out there that has more, in my opinion, has more hustle than us. There's nobody out there that takes care of the customer better than us. And really, like, it's never who's first to the, in my opinion, it's always who's best. And we've grown like a rocket ship because we handle our business and we do it the right way and we take care of every single customer, and we're not out there trying to and when I say take care of it, we're giving you something that we feel we can afford to do. Is there gonna be somebody out there with a better price? Yeah, maybe. Probably. But will they actually finish it from start to finish all the way and do exactly what they say? Some will, some won't. And that's,
And there's always got to be two. That's the beautiful thing about where we live. Even if you drive around, I'm sure other states are different, but, we have take gas stations, for instance. Like, you can have the old gas station that kind of sucks. They don't have a nice bathroom. But in our town, like, a big gas station is moving in is Maverick. And they have beautiful gas stations, beautiful bathrooms, good food. And both gas stations will exist. You always need the two. It's just who's going to be the Maverick and who's going to be the Jacksons or the Stinker, And I like to believe that we're kind of like the Maverick, or, if you're going to pair Walmart and Target, like we're kind of at the Target. So.
Yeah. And you need, and they'll always both exist, or all 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, they'll all exist. It's just a matter of getting with somebody that you trust, somebody you want to deal with, someone you like. And people do business with people they like. And I'm a firm believer in that. There's a lot of, it depends on when you start getting down to real tight times, tough times, people start really watching the quarters, nickels, and dimes. But the reality of it is people do business with people they like and people that they trust, and that's always been our business model. Is we want you to trust us, and at the same time, like we're gonna try and take care of you. So, go ahead.
Well, I mean, we've had this talk 100 times, but just for the sake of the show, like, you know, we're not in the recycling game. We're not in the cat game. We're in the relationship game. So if we can have a good relationship with someone and we can give them a little peace of mind and buy their scrap metal, their converters, whatever, like, that's what we're after. Like, if there is just a rub and it never felt good from the beginning, then so be it. There's enough to go around for everybody in this world. And if everybody could just realize that and do good in their little circles, I think everybody would be a lot happier.
And once you realize the world's abundant, then you're also not afraid to take the risk and spend the money to do something because you realize, like, there's enough out there that we can go get our piece and be successful in doing it. As long as we take care of what we know we need to do, then there's enough out there for us to go get some of it and be successful at it. And I think it also, you knowing that the world is abundant, you don't get scared by the competition. You don't get worked up about the size of the market because you know it's out there and we're going to go get our piece of it. So back to your story a little bit. I always say, like, you can either learn or you can earn in a job, right? Yeah. Or you can, in the best job, you get to do both, right? Yeah. And if you're not getting either,
if you're not enjoying it, you should probably just find another job.
Yeah. But here's the deal. Like, if you're earning, let's say there's jobs out there that people do that they just don't like, but they're making a killing, right? So you're either getting fulfilled financially or you're getting fulfilled mentally. The best jobs are the ones you get both, right? But if you're not getting either, you got to go. So I think I could probably guess, only because I know I did payroll for a long time, but for you, there was a lot of learning, like initially. I mean, from breaking down electronics to doing big demo jobs to driving truck to operating equipment to running a scale house. So, like, all those jobs that you just said kind of culminated in, like, basically where we sit today, which is, you're the president of Converter Reclaim. And when you look at Converter Reclaim, like, going forward, I mean, what do you see?
I mean, for one, it'd be nice to get all 50 states. Mm-hmm. And two, I mean, we have the best minds in the world, right? Like, there's a lot of smart people smarter than us, right? And they may be smart at, programming or the internet. Like, I think making it easier for people to do business with a trustworthy company like us, that's where I want to move forward to. And just, we've always talked about, like, the payment and the PayPal. Like, we could figure out some sort of streamlined thing with that and all these options. And
we have something coming, right, that we've kind of been hatching on. And I think we're, like, real close on the payment side. And we'll wait till we get all of our stars aligned. But, I do agree. Like, that's where, we've had a lot of success is just our flexibility in our ability to pay, right? Yeah. Ability to pay.
Just figure it out,
And our flexibility of whether it's a gift certificate, a PayPal, a Venmo, a bank transfer,
good old-fashioned check.
Good old-fashioned check and cash. Like, it just depends. And that just still goes back to customer service, right? Like, just what does your customer need? What do they want? How do they, what's going to be the most beneficial for them? And then just making it work.
Yeah. That's what I like in the next few years. Like, we got a lot of bases covered, but if we can just make it super awesome for our customer. And I say that because there's something nostalgic about dealing with the whole country. Like, we've never had a business. I mean, well, I guess we had the pipe business, but I wasn't directly involved with that. But there's something cool about talking to somebody in New York and what's popular to them, what they're, like, experts on, like, all this knowledge. Like, That's what's so cool about the whole thing is just being able to communicate with all these people and all these different demographics. And, I've learned a lot. I'm still learning every day. Like, I'll be the first to admit, like, I don't know everything.
Yeah.
But I'd like to try to transfer what I have learned to everybody around me so that we can better serve more and more people.
The coolest thing that I've enjoyed and what we've kind of said our goal is to take the guessing out of the converters, right? When I started selling converters, I didn't know shit. And I don't have a tenth of the knowledge.
To the people that we want to kind of maybe buy from.
Yeah, I didn't have a tenth
right?
of the knowledge that you have today in your brain about converters. And I was selling a decent amount of converters, at least a decent amount for us, right? So what I've always said, like my mission with Converter Reclaim is just to take all the guesswork out of it and put the information right in the customer's hand. I know our demographic that we're looking for is the small to medium size, converter, the people that have converters, producers. That's who our target demographic is. We're looking for the mechanic shops, the tow companies, the side hustle recycler that buys cars and flips cars on the side, and and then obviously we work up to the smaller recycling companies, the guys that might be buying 1 to 50 to 100 a month.
They might buy all the metals, but maybe they don't have a scale.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have a baler. They're just sorting and grouping, and they just need to move their money.
Yeah, they need to move them. They need to move the converters, and they need someone they can trust, that they feel comfortable with dealing. That's going to get them paid.
Question if they have a problem, Or...
Yeah, because I think that's where the biggest niche that we found for us is that market, which is why we're excited for SEMA. That's what what we anticipate. The people that we anticipate being able to talk to at SEMA are those guys that own a shop, or run derby cars, or enjoy fixing up and modifying vehicles either for themselves, for other customers, people, for customers.
Pimping stuff out.
Like,
it's
like
doing a beautiful job.
It's our target market, 100%, and I think. That's why I'm looking forward to it. That, and I just want to go see some cool shit. That I've always wanted to go to SEMA.
It's going to be a nice work/mini vacation kind of a thing. But if we can get in front of some of these people that live that process, like say they're building a Denali SEMA truck, right, and they want to have it cat back exhaust, or from the header back exhaust. Maybe they don't want the cats on there. What are they going to do with the cats? Like, those are the kind of people that we want to deal with. Like, people that legitimately, like, that's going to be an off-road vehicle, and they need a solution. And if you don't want to audition your converters through the, 1 or 5 guys that pass through your state or your city every month, like, you're trying to run a business, you're trying to build the truck, you're trying to order parts, and you're probably trying to fix other people's cars that are the foundation of your business. The oil changes, the brakes, all that kind of stuff. Like, and if you can sell your converter, get a price for it in your own time when it's convenient for you with no pressure, like, we quote cats all day long that, we may not hear from that person ever. We may not hear from them in a couple weeks, but, when they're ready to do it, we're going to be here, and that's the play that we're going to have for eternity.
Yeah, we've invested a ton of money in infrastructure. We've invested a ton of money in people. We've invested money that we anticipate building out a business that's going to be there in the long run. And I think that's always the way we've done it. We've made some money. We've reinvested it. We're looking to build, I say I'm always looking to build a real business, but at this stage in the game, we're looking to build a big business, and because the economics of it is real right now. So now it's just a matter of trying to get more people aware of what we're doing, the convenience that we offer in being able to recycle a converter on your own time, and not when a guy with a pickup truck or a van shows up and says, "Hey, let's look at your converters right now. I'm ready to buy them." Well, that doesn't really fit for everybody's schedule, especially in today's market where labor's tight. Everybody's running the rev limiter all the way to the red because they're short and they got more business than they know what to do with, shop work. And it's a convenience deal, but it's also a trust deal. And I think you hit the nail on the head.
The reason why, we're so aware of that is not only why are we buying converters, but we're also buying scrap metal. So, every day we're having talks and seeing actual customers that are doing the same thing that everybody around the country is doing, but they're doing it right here in Boise, Idaho. So one of the reasons why United Metals is so successful is because, one, the customer's generating scrap metal and they want it tidy and they want it out of there when they call and they want to get paid for it and they want it to be accurate. If the customer puts 4 grams in there, they're going to remember it and we're going to pay them for it. And when we say we're going to come pick it up, you can call us, you can email us, you can send, any one of the buyers a text, but we also have an app that's on the phone so that if it's midnight and they're working on the car and they notice their scrap bin's full, they can get it exchanged. And all those things have led up to this moment of why do we want to ship converters and boxes? And it's all about the customer. It has... we want to run a business, and we need to make money to keep the lights on, but it's all for the customer.
The best businesses are born out of the idea of you putting yourself in your customer's shoes and solving a problem for them, right? Yeah. And I know that to be true with copper reclaim because, our ability to mobile pick up, guys that are on job sites and they're out there and they don't have time to decide which scrapyard to go to, call a scrapyard, do this, do that, send a guy
They just want to get on to the next
They want to
job.
get to the next.
That's what pays
their
the
money
bills.
is really made doing electrical work, plumbing work. That's their money. And if they know they got a company that's on the other side of it waiting with a scale, they're going to get paid a good price and it's going to eliminate that friction, then to me, you got a real business, right? Because you're eliminating friction for your customer. And that's why Converter Reclaim has been successful. What we've bought now in 6 months, we've bought from
43, I think,
43 different states, like 43 customers.
Almost there.
Yeah, 43 people from 43 different states have recognized the convenience and counting, right? But either way, because we're in those automotive shops, exchanging their bins and dealing with them with the scrap metal side is what enabled us to say, hey, there's another business to be built here on the converter side because we know the battles that these guys are fighting every day, right?
Yeah.
And like going back to it, the best businesses are built out of finding a itch that your customer needs scratched.
Yeah.
And that's where we're at today. So this podcast is a scrap life. Everybody finds their way in it. I found it in by DNA. Like I just showed up one day and I was balls deep in the scrap business, right? From a 1-year-old. This is all I know. This is what it is. And so I got taught business early, and I got taught the scrap business just through old school, roll your sleeves up and go to work. But I love it. This is I wouldn't trade it for the world. So how does a guy from Boise, Idaho, how's the scrap industry, scrap business kind of changed you? Has it changed you, or has it always been in you?
I want to back up even before United Metals. Like in high school, I went to machine shop class and I competed at a state level and beat everybody in Idaho at a high school and college level. And I went to nationals in Kansas City twice, my junior year and my senior year. So I've always had a thing for metal. Mm-hmm. On that side, it was really awesome getting to build stuff with your hands and getting to understand how these automated machines work and the language that they use. And I guess that's why I've always been so focused on the details of what we do here, because I was taught to pay attention to the details when you're making airplane parts and knife parts. You know, that knife you carry right there.
Yeah.
So then when I came to work for scrap metal, it was like perfect. Like, God, I get to be around scrap metal and it doesn't have to be perfect anymore. Like, that's just like, you know, when Tom hired me and Dustin, our master fabricator back there, you know, we're best friends. And me and him tried to start a landscaping company just on our own. And we didn't know anything about business, but we knew we were like kind of tired of working for somebody. And, you know, and we just ran that thing into the ground until my unemployment ran out and I had zero money. And then Tom gave me a job.
Yeah.
Right. So I just like, this is the new thing. I got to run with it. And the thing that I think has helped me set me up for success is that not only is Tom the president of United Metals, but he's always been our HR guy. He's always been like, kind of like a daddy to me, like almost like you also. But in the beginning, that was Tom, not you.
Mm-hmm.
And I rubbed a lot of shoulders with Tom. I would take apart the electronics, but Tom would smash them with a hammer and just separate the commodities that way and make a gigantic mess. But, you know, Tom, you know, I partied with him. I've had dinners with him. I've helped him move. You know, he's helped me do things. He's helped me when I had a bind. Like, I don't know, you remember when I got that brand new cell phone? Mm-hmm. And it fell out of my pocket right out there. I had it for like a week and I spent all my money on it. I was probably making like $11 an hour then. But that phone fell out and I ran it over with our United Electronics recycling truck. And I'm like, well fuck, what am I going to do? Like, I don't have a phone anymore. And Tom's just like, I think I talked to you or I talked to Tom or whatever, but it just gave me some money and I went and bought another phone. And that phone went in the scrap recycling. You know? But I mean, those are the kind of things like, you know, that has made us a family. And those are the types of things that, as the director and, you know, with Brett Wells and all these guys that work underneath us, like, we're just trying to run a business, but also be a family. Like, keep it professional. But if guys come in here and they got holes in their boots and they can't spend $140, and I mean, we'll probably just go get them some boots. Like, it's not a big deal. But I don't want to buy everybody boots, and you know, we can't buy everybody boots. But you know, if everybody just had a little more compassion for the people around them, then maybe they get a little further in life. And that's something I think has gone a long ways with Tom, with you, with me, and you know, moving back into my story, like, those moments with Tom made me more confident to do what I'm going to do, because if I made a mistake or fucked something up, I knew Tom, he'd probably get pissed, but he, you know, like, it ain't going to be the end of the world.
Yeah.
And I've always been that way with you. Like, if I make a mistake, I mean, yeah, I'll tell you about it. But, I mean, is it going to be the end of the world? Am I going to want to hide it? No. I mean, do I want anybody to hide anything from me? No.
No, and that goes all back to culture. People, like, it's like a, you know, a buzzword, culture this and culture that. And I don't know any other way, right? Like, some people say, well, how do you, you know, create this culture? How do you do this? I'm like, that's just, I watched my dad do it, right? I watched my dad, you know, take care of everybody and sometimes do more than he should. Sometimes, you know, do things that I'd scratch my head and be like, why would you do that? You know, for somebody.
Yeah.
You know, because as a kid, you just don't understand it, but you watch it, you observe it, and as you get older and you start living it, and it's your world, you're saying, I see why you did that, because there's so many other factors at play. It's you want other people to say, this is how you treat other people. You want your kid to see, this is how you treat people. And it just, all those factors come in to creating a good culture, that if you've been around it, you're a part of it, you don't even see it as like, I'm doing this to create culture. I'm just doing this because that's what we do here. Yeah. And I think for me, that's how I look at it. And that's what you're speaking of, is you got a guy that sets the tone, like Tom, and says, this is how we're going to do it, you know, and this is the way it's going to go, and we're going to take care of people, and we're going to find. Like, one thing about Tom, like, so if you go and look at Tom's desk right now, it's a fucking mess. Guaranteed. It looks like a bomb went off, right?
You know?
But, like, you will not find a more creative like person when it comes to solving a riddle, right? He's like the master of us piling a bunch of shit on his desk and saying, we don't know what to do.
Get to the bottom, right?
Figure this out and like make it smell as good as you can, right? And like that's one of his like, strongest attributes is, he has a way of just digging into something and saying like, I'm going to get to the bottom of it, which you need that guy in your organization, just like you need the hands-on guy that's a little more soft around the edges than Tom can be to basically pick it up and get people motivated and go, right?
We want to go down a little softer, like we need to talk about Nick a little bit. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like Nick, I can be the president, but Nick has always been there from the beginning. Even to the day we came up with the name and the logo, the day I bought the truck, the day I made my business cards, it's always kind of been like there, little behind the scenes, but every decision I make, even to this day, like, if it's kind of a little one, I might not tell Nick, but either way, we're all going to kind of talk about it.
I would say
Nick, like, never gets mad about anything. Like,
who's the second most knowledgeable person about converters in our company?
It's probably Nick. Yeah.
Does anybody even know that?
No.
Probably not. Like, no, because Nick just knows, he knows that material. He knows non-ferrous. Like, he sits behind the scenes, and he is the most positive guy that you've ever met in your life.
Nick mad.
Could you imagine,
on a daily basis, I'm trying to piss him off and set him off a little bit, and it never works.
You know what's so funny? Like, I wish I was like a fly in the wall, like, because with Tom and Nick, like, Tom's very pragmatic, very like, okay, dig in and get this done.
Fucking camera in
like, if they're, the symbol of the yin and the yang, like dude, that is that office is like 1,000% the yin and the yang, right? Yeah. Like, there's no doubt about it, And I think the cool thing about our group, yourself, Tom, Nick, Buxton, Wells, Amy, like, I could go on and on and on, right? Like, everybody has a lane, and we just live in our lane.
Yeah.
And but we're never afraid to jump over and switch lanes if somebody needs help. But if you're not asking for help, or I don't think you need it, then I'm just going to stay in mine, and I'm just going to keep pushing down the highway, right? And I think that's the coolest thing is everybody knows where their lane is, Buxton's on managing all our commercial accounts, right? Like, dude, that job in and of itself of trying to manage bins, roll-offs, trailers, customers, payments, pricing, like, dude, what that guy does behind the scenes is crazy, but it's because he's a very attention to detail guy.
Yeah,
he's a super detail guy, like
super anal.
He stays in that lane, and he's like goddamn good at it. So you just let him do in his lane, right? Like we don't mess with him because it's just, hey, you're handling a huge part of our business, and you may not get the credit like. On social media or something, whatever, but like I know in my mind what's going on back there. Like, I
just 1 minute story about Buxton, right?
Okay.
Like being so neat and like the job that entails. Like, so when we were opening the Twin Falls yard, like me, I always got like an old bottle or whatever. I'll just throw it in the back seat. Like we're driving back from Twin, it's 5:00, and there's like accident, and he's in his truck, and his truck is always immaculate.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, he calls me up, and he's maybe like 20 minutes behind me or ahead of me or whatever, but he had to take a piss. And I'm like, well, if you were in my car right now, you'd be able to find a bottle, and probably a Gatorade bottle. But since he is so neat, if there's garbage in his car, he's probably going to like take the time to go take it to the garbage before he starts driving. But that day... that really got him being so neat, and that's what I love about Buxton.
Yeah, which is why like him doing what he does behind the scenes for all of the commercial business, like it is a good fit just because of that reason. Like he keeps us organized. We can go out and quote, like set the customer up, like we're gonna get you 3 bins. Here's the price. Like we're just like
set it and forget it.
Yeah,
but then at the end of the month, like we're gonna be like Buxton.
Because we have the
payment at,
because we have the confidence that it will get done, right? And I think that's where I was going with the whole thing was, everybody in their lane, you know that with everybody moving, you have confidence that you can pass it on to the next guy, gal, whatever, and it's going to get done. You're like, all right, that's going to get done. That's going to get done. So as it goes through the line, everybody feels good about it. So scrap metal, it's in your blood now. I'm stoked. I got my dad coming out to SEMA, which is, the relationship we have now where we just get to more hang out and enjoy our time together, and it's not, like
it's not like he's making sure.
Yeah, he's just wants to come enjoy and be a part of it, and that's what's great for me. But I know he's excited. There's a lot of buzz going around us getting to go to the SEMA show, and I haven't had it 1,000% confirmed, but I would bet a good jag of money that we're the first recycling company to put a vendor booth at SEMA where all we do is recycling.
We're not, The only thing we're trying to sell is the service.
We're selling the recycling service that we're offering, which is, when your takeoffs on your catalytic, when you're redoing your muffler or you're replacing something in your mechanic shop or you're towing a vehicle or whatever that is, and you've got some scrap catalytic converters, like all we're asking for is a shot. But it's pretty cool that we get to be at the SEMA show. We get to sponsor a pretty good sized booth. Be in the new products division, which is kind of we kind of laugh about it.
I can't wait to see the new products. It's like literally, I think 40 or 50 feet away from us on the same floor, but they're just going to be a cardboard box.
So sitting there how many people would say what's the new product you guys are presenting at SEMA? A cardboard box. What do you mean a cardboard box? Yeah, we're going to put your old catalytic converter in the mail, and you're going to ship it in, and you're going to get paid for that.
Yeah.
And it's going to be convenient for you, and you're going to get paid the right price.
Yeah.
New products, we feel it's pretty new.
We paid $500 to put a cardboard box in the new products showcase.
Yep.
That's us.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And that's why I think we stack up a few more W's than L's, is because we're not afraid to take the risk.
Yeah.
And that's why we're sitting here today.
You say this all the time, and it drives me kind of nuts, but you can't hit the ball if you don't swing the bat.
Yeah.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch. I hear it 1,000 times, but even today, I'm saying that to our guys.
Yeah. I really believe that. I really believe that life is here for us to do everything we can to swing the bat and put ourselves at the table and be part of the conversation, and if
it doesn't work, we'll be on to the next thing.
Exactly.
We got plenty of stuff to do.
Yeah, we got projects. Yeah. We're here to have fun doing what we do, and I couldn't ask for a better deal. I couldn't. So it's easy for me to get up every day. So thanks, Jay. Appreciate you, man. I'm looking forward to the SEMA show.
Yeah.
And a lot more years of building a company that so far has taken off like a rocket ship.
After this one, I just can't even think about what the next one might be. But I got maybe an idea.
I got a pretty good idea. But we'll go into that later.
We'll go down that road when we have it. But thanks for having me on, and have a good day.
Thank you, sir. Break.